Welcome to the DevCast, the only show taking you down the rabbit hole of game development. Your guides to the industry are Robin Andrew, Chaz Barker, and Mark Hollier. Thank you, Offworld, for sponsoring this episode. And welcome to the podcast, DevCast. We already used all our good material, and my name is Robin, this is Chaz, and we also have our producer behind the scenes, Mark, and we're going to take you through a journey of game development and what it's actually like to work in the industry. And I've been in it now for coming up on 22 years? Yourself, Chaz? You're old like me.
21 years, I think.
21 years. Yeah. And Mark, you're also in around the 20.
I just hit my 20th in April.
Excellent. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. We've got, producer Mark, you want to remind me what our first topic is here?
Indie versus AAA.
Oh, right. Yeah. So indie versus AAA. I mean, there's pros and cons to each. We've worked in both. We've worked in AAA, indie, mobile, which is, do we call that less than indie? It can be indie. It can be AAA.
It can be AAA, yeah.
It could be, yeah. So what's your definition on what a AAA game is?
Usually team size and budget, but it does come down to the quality that you can produce as a team, even given those variables as well, I would say. You could have all the money in the world and still produce a Concorde.
Ooh. That's a low blow. I don't know if we're gonna censor that out or not. By the way, just because it did the way it did, I actually got myself a sealed copy of Concorde after they pulled it off the shelves. I went to a store and they gave it to me because I was like, I'm looking for this, and the guy laughed. I was like, "You're a collector, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm obviously a collector." So, but yes, AAA and AA. Like, what's the big distinction, would you say, between AA and AAA these days?
AA.
We're not going to talk about quadruple A right now.
I could talk about quadruple A.
Oh, okay, fine. We're already there. Let's go.
Pack of nonsense.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. This is gonna be one of the times I agree with you.
Yeah.
Quadruple A is like, let's make up a title to justify how much money we might have spent.
It's sunk cost fallacy. It's like there's no turning back. That's kind of AAA as well, if I'm being honest. It's just, oh my God, we spent how much and it's been how long? Oh God.
Yeah, how do we make this seem good?
And
it's like, yeah, that's...
AAA back in our day, well, I started in AAA, it was 2003, 2004, and that was, something like Burnout 3, Takedown.
Great game.
First game I worked on. And that was like we went from a 30-person team to a 250-something person team, and that's what AAA means. It's like the scale of the thing just goes out of control, and back in those days, it was like holding on to a tiger by the tail.
When I, as a consumer, I'm told it's a AAA game, I expect a certain level of quality, right? And we've been through projects and on teams or whatever where AAA just doesn't, it's technically a AAA, but doesn't, from my eyes, even qualify as a AAA product.
Yeah, if you have tens of millions in the budget, but you don't have certain talents on the team, right? You may be missing a really good gameplay engineer. You may be missing a really good character artist. You may be missing a really good game designer. That's where I sort of talk about it's the difference between playing soccer and playing basketball. If you're playing basketball, you're managing a basketball team, you can purchase a player who will win games for you.
Right.
If you're managing a soccer team, you can buy all the David Beckhams you want.
Okay, so clarification, we are talking football. Wait, British football? Soccer?
Yep.
When you're talking,
Yeah, soccer. So when you're talking about game team, it's the same thing. Like, you can have the best game designer in the world. If your team doesn't know how to code, what are they going to do, right? And, we've all been in projects where that is the case. And, it's when you get into that project, something like Burnout, you have EA's budget, you have EA's resources and hiring practices and processes, all these things come together, and you have a strong game team where there is no weak link. Or if there is a weak link, there's another person around who can make up for it.
Yeah, I'd say that, when we're considering AAA, and one's actually able to, claim that as a title, there's a lot of experience which comes into play. I'd say for me, that's one of the biggest things. If you have the experience on a team and it permeates every level of design and art and, programming, engineers, all that stuff, you're getting into that AAA territory, with the budget and the time to make it. So, I mean, you could have a AAA team, and you just don't have the budget. To me, that starts feeling like, well, we're kind of going indie, or we've stepped away, of course, from the AAA studio, whatever your EA's, Ubisoft's, Bethesda's, stuff like that, and you're like, okay, we're going to start a new company. You can have like this top tier talent, and you could still roll out with a AA product because of a budget and time. It's one of those things where I don't know if you've heard, when people say, well, you've got three options. You can have something that's done cheaply, it's done well, and it's done fast. But you can never have all three.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the designer's dilemma.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think a AAA game is something that is able to manage each one of those factors, to come out with that certain level of quality.
Yeah. Well, you have a big audio team that allows you to do AAA audio. You have a big art team that allows you to do AAA art, and so you're on another level from AA and indie right there, because you have a massive team of people creating top industry assets for you, and the gameplay can be whatever. I mean, we've all played those games where you're kind of underwhelmed by the gameplay mechanics, but the whole thing looks beautiful and feels like nothing.
Like when I first started, getting into it was directly into AAA games. Is working at EA. It was like this is big studio. You went into the studio and it felt like this huge production. Like you felt like you're in this massive AAA studio, and they expected this level of quality. That expectation doesn't change just because you're going to a different company or whatever that is not as grandiose as EA tends to put their reputation behind it.
Well, I mean, AAA nowadays is different as well, because the rich get richer, the team size gets even more. Where when I left AAA, it was approaching 1,000 developers all working around the clock around the world in different parts of the world, and it would take, say I was fixing a bug when I was an engineer, and I would do code reviews with people from Sweden and people in Australia and people in blah, blah, blah. It would all go through the same code review. It would go through multiple different people all checking the code. It took 3 months. I think I left the project before the code was ever checked in. I can't remember if I even checked it in. I think I just spent 3 months on the code review.
Yeah.
And that was, normal.
So that's kind of like something that I understand why that process is there, however you want to pronounce that. I got grilled recently on what I said, process or process, and I said that's tomato, like leave me alone, piss off, it doesn't matter. But what does matter is the end product from that timeline, that process that it takes to go through all these code reviews. I mean, if you're outsourcing, that's like to me, outsourcing kind of reminds me of, like, I recently hooked up my computer to this new monitor, and I couldn't find this proper direct cable, and I had to go get like an additional component to connect. Oh, this can now connect to your computer, and that can connect to your monitor. It's a point of failure, and it's an inherent risk. And I think, being a AAA company, you can actually say, okay, listen, we've already accounted for that inherent risk of being able to outsource to another company. We have a lot of back and forth, and we know it's going to take a little, more time to get it right, and whether any number of factors, communication, et cetera, time zones, all that stuff. But they've already put that into their budget, and they've already put it into their time, and they still get the same outcome, you know, versus now, like, say, an indie studio, like, man, if you're going to outsource anything, which typically you probably keep it in-house, so you're a lot closer to the project, but, you know, your talent is limited. So, but if you were to outsource, now you've got, again, another point of failure, but that timeline and that money that's spent, that's a whole lot smaller. It's a lot more risk to be able to, you know, complete that. So I think where indie studios, like I'm a big fan of, you know, indie studios, which are like, it's very in-house. And a lot of times people think like indie is like, oh, it's in the garage, you know, or it's...
It can be.
It absolutely can be. I mean, I've worked on an indie studio where we were in cubicles in a shared space with other startups, you know?
Like a WeWork.
Yeah, but at that point, even though we were an indie, we also were given like a huge third-party license to work with. So now you're like, okay, now I'm in an indie studio trying to release something that's going to be AAA because of the reputation. That's a huge load on the team. And
yeah, usually in indie, you would be limiting your design down to your team and your abilities to do certain things, whereas in AAA, you are blue sky designing and producers solve the problem for you via outsourcing. And it also influences, when you think about it, recently there's been a huge turn to extraction shooters and roguelikes and like replayable content, you know, on the indie scene. And in the AAA scene, they're starting to copy it now, but they would be much more about horizontal scaling, like many more levels, like days and days and days and days of replay, you know, through New Game Plus, but they would not do anything clever in terms of game mechanics or confusing in terms of game mechanics.
But when it was done, right? And it's like, there it is. You get it in the physical copy, and this is, you know, obviously before digital.
Yep.
You know, but it was done at that point. And then I can remember when I was working at EA, they're like, oh, we're going to release this, I believe it was, I think it was Carbon, Need for Speed Carbon, where it was, they offered a day one patch, and we're all like, what? What do you mean we're not done? It's like, oh no, we're done. It's been pressed on
yeah,
on the
it's
disc.
gold. But yeah, going gold meant the disc was pressed and it was finally, you know, done, because you would have bugs that only appeared because they were on a disc, and that was the bane of everyone's existence. But that used to be like, we talk about crunch. There was a lot of crunch with that. But
absolutely,
then it started to be, well, you guys aren't done. You're on the DLC team, you lucky so you've been crunching for 6 months, and then you just keep going, and everyone else is going on holiday.
You're like, no, I can remember that.
I remember walking past one of those guys and be like, "Hey, see you later."
Yeah, it's rough. Like when, like nowadays, everything's digital. Like they're like, yes, we're gonna be shipping on this date, and so this terms of, you know, finaling a game back what it used to be, it was like it's over and done with, and you lived with the consequences of what got fixed and what didn't. And that is where, yes, crunch really started ramping up, because like there's no way we can ship with the A, B, and C issues. We have to fix these, or we need this feature in because our competitor
fixed it.
goes, oh well, we've got this, and we're like, we're gonna have to do this.
Well, that's something that people don't know, is that in order to ship on Xbox and PlayStation, you need to have a certain level of lack of crashes. There's certain things like you have to interact with that friend system, you have to interact with achievements, you have
certification.
You have to certify with those projects, and that's a crap ton of work. That's what I started on when I was in those, you know, in those games back in the day. I would make the whole UI system, and then I would also ship features and final the game and to go through cert. And that was the first couple of projects I was on, and I was a junior, not even a junior
just thrown
programmer.
right into the just thrown right into the fire, like, here you go,
like a puppy thrown to wolves. Like, just
be happy because you're working in games.
I was.
It's a privilege.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
I mean, I still love it. It doesn't matter. You know, this is why we've been in this for 20 years. Like, if you don't love something, you know, I know sometimes you've got to stay in certain places due to economics or any other thing around, but I mean, it is nice to be able to do what you love, and I believe if you're working in games, you should really just love working in them, you know?
Or have Stockholm syndrome. That's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the hostages sort of start to relate to their captors.
Right, the captors, and you're
Yeah.
like, this is great.
I love you guys.
Exactly.
We're all in it together.
Yeah, it's like, don't worry, I'll work with you to get you the best deal you can get.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we want a helicopter and $5 million and
There'd be cases where the
and
hostages
whatever.
help one of the terrorists who they like try and escape from the special forces.
That's what it used to be like.
Yeah.
Well, I feel so nowadays with digital, like getting back to this point of physical versus digital, you're getting games which are technically unfinished, but with the promise of it's never going to end. Like you can always get more and more and more content, but it's never like that single package product where you're like, I love it, I hate it, it's meh or whatever. Now it's, I mean, you can look at other studios and like, and I love this game now. I hated it when it first came out for obvious reasons. But if we're talking about things, if we're talking about CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk, or we can talk about your buddy there, Sean Murray, over at
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. It's like the huge thought about what this could be, and when it released, it wasn't exactly what they wanted to get to. But over time, they've built and refined and added, and while they're fixing bugs and doing all this other stuff, but you're getting endless content. So it's this thought now of games as they're never done. So that old quote, with Miyamoto, he would say, like a bad game is bad forever, kind of thing. That was true back then. Now it's not. That is completely blown out of the water. That is no longer something that's relevant to today's, dev cycle. It's you do whatever you can get to here. This is playable. This is our what we call core content. This is, and these are all of our milestone updates afterwards. And now you've got whole community teams based around that. Just to communicate to all the players out there saying, oh, this new stuff is coming in, and there's a lot of give and take now. Whereas before it was like, here's the studio, here's our game, you're gonna freaking love this, eat it, and you did, or you didn't, and you bitched about it and complained and whatever, and then maybe they fixed it on their next iteration.
The marketing budget of AAA is usually there's a development budget, say it's $200 million, something crazy.
Yeah.
The marketing budget is another $200 million. They spend as much on marketing as they did on development.
I was blown away when I first heard about that back
Yeah,
when
I mean, I think we only found it out because we were in a meeting we shouldn't have been in.
Yeah, that's
someone wrote on the wall like dev budget, and someone wrote
just like, oh my god, and you're just blown away. Like your eyes get open to the.
It's probably worse now.
process.
It's probably double what the development budget is. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Haven't been for a while, so.
but talking about that, like there right now, like even with let's take Squad or let's take Troopers here at Offworld Industries, because this is what we're doing. So, but taking we've released Troopers, and again listening to community feedback and trying to give them more and more. And Squad has actually been going on for what now? Since early access, 15.
5 years. 5 years release and
No.
10 years in.
So I'm saying like total, like 15. Yeah, thanks, Mark. This is why this is why we have Mark here to correct me all the time.
10 years in production.
Nice. He likes to take my comments and say actually fact check, and then I get slapped on the wrist for that. But so taking a company like Offworld, and we've releasing something like Squad. Back in the day, that was like, let's think again, Full Spectrum Warrior, if we're getting into a more mil sim kind of type of game. That was there and done. And now it's, from early access into full release, it is constantly like, here, let us tell you, tell us what you like, what you don't like. This is why we have all these, getting even to UE5.
Mm-hmm.
We've been having so many playtests. It's because we're trying to listen to, or gauge, feedback from the community. You wouldn't have that, back when we started, and I'd say that's one of the biggest changes in the game industry. And I don't know about you, but like I collect games. I've used up too much of my living room and other spaces with games and consoles and things.
I would say I have a healthy Steam library. I have a very healthy Steam library.
I don't have a Steam library. I know I do. It's like 4 games, but it's because I'm a console kid. I like my physical copies of games, and you've got like tons of games that you forget about because they're in your digital library. I can look at them on my shelf and then go, I'm not going to play you because I'm a collector. Can I keep that pristine?
It's just pristine in its wrapped case. Yep.
Now, when you say healthy, do you mean healthy in that it's big and
This is not
big?
healthy for me.
Or is it healthy that I've spent this much money and haven't played half of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a healthy Steam library.
I'm trying to...
It's wide.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's extensive.
I mean, having an extensive library of games. So when getting into dating...
I was trying to make a dick joke, but it didn't work out.
Okay. Getting in... So something that I've had to like kind of put a buffer in and be like, well, the reason why I have so many games, it's like a lawyer, and they used to have all the books in behind them. It's like because they could pull on for reference. I'd be like, yes, I need to play games for reference, and that's why I have all this stuff. And they're like, okay. So, yeah, and then, you go to message them and like, hey, you want to go out again? They're like, actually, and you're like, yeah, okay, that's why. But I mean, I don't care. I love my games. And it's, for me, it's not just a something to pull on for reference because, you could do that digitally. I have a lot more digital games now. But for me back then, it's something, for me to actually look at, be, remembered about, the state. Oh, that's the game I worked on. And, like the plaques on the walls with your name on it with the disc and things like that. Those are great to have. And you can always play those. Nowadays, with online, I mean, that's the other thing too. We're talking about online games. It's always having that online connection. You can't play a lot of games now without having that connection, for a variety of different reasons.
Yep.
So
I think one of the other differences in AAA is risk. Like, they cannot really take risks. And at least when I was doing it, 10 or so years ago now, we would redo certain things over and over again. Like the audio of something wasn't good enough, it would be redone.
Yeah.
And the re-recording, yeah. I can't think, like gameplay, just like completely changing gameplay, like physics on car driving and stuff like that. That would be redone maybe 2 weeks before we went alpha.
Know.
When we went alpha, we would be redoing like fundamental things.
Don't you fucking dare talk to me about redoing physics. God damn, I just went through all of it.
It was
all of it.
It was nuts. It's
good fun though.
But in indie and AA, it's not quite as nuts. It's usually you don't have time or budget to like redo something, so you have to.
Like,
so
this is good enough.
It's good enough, and you usually put all your risk into the core loop, and you're not really like adding leaderboards randomly for no reason or doing a lot of things to try and keep up with the Joneses of this other game just because it's in your bracket.
So this is kind of like getting like we're almost talking about like feature creep stuff nowadays, and or from what you were just saying. And
AAA is the worst.
Oh,
this game came out and it has this.
It's a feature. Oh my God, so many different meetings I've been in, and it's like, here's this core feature, and then you remember those brainstorm meetings?
Oh yeah.
That is like the feature creep spaghetti monster.
They're like, don't worry, it's just a brainstorm. You're like,
oh no,
we're already in 6th month death mark crunch.
Yes.
The executive producer's like, time for a brainstorm. You're like, I want it to end.
Yeah. Well, it's not just wanting to end. It's like wanting to ship, but because with all like, if you have a set amount of time,
which you do, you have to hit a marketing date.
Realistically, every single one has a set amount of time.
You have to hit Christmas date. You have to because they're spending double the amount on the marketing, and then if they delay the game for any amount of time, you're slipping into Grand Theft Auto is releasing, or Call of Duty's releasing, and
But that's where feature creep. I mean, if you've got the budget, and you can say if you've got like like GTA 6. It's like
I would say those are GTA and Red Dead Redemption are what I would call quadruple A games, I guess.
oh, what about Skull and Bones?
Skull and Bones.
They were the first ones to say that they're quadruple A. You know that?
Yeah, it didn't work out.
No. What was that? 10 years?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years of development.
10 years. So.
And you can see that, like game developers can see that coming a mile off, right? Like,
oh yeah.
It's just no decision was made.
Well, not only that, it's like there's no decision. It gets to a point, someone else comes on because 10 years, a decade is a long time.
Dream of making a game for 10 years. Every game I've made has been less than 2.
But think about this though. You've got now new directors or new producers, new designers coming on board, which they're like, oh, I'm on board, and this is what we have to change.
Oh, they tell you to come in.
Redone.
They tell you to come in with new ideas when you join that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They tell you we will need a breath of fresh air, and you're coming in as the senior game designer. You need to right the ship.
Can you imagine coming in as like the lead or senior designer? You're like, stay the course, good buddies, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
Is that all you got? It's like,
we should have shipped 5 years ago. What are we doing?
I mean, that is one thing. Yeah. You can come in and you can swing a bat and you can be like, here's all the things I want to fix because of X, Y, and Z. Or you can be like, I want to add all these other things. And you know what? If you've got the budget, you've got the time, and the studio wants to do it and they empower you to do it, I mean, sure, it goes into that churn. That's why these games can take 5-10 years, is because the game has changed so much from the initial prototyping, alpha test, and like, oh no, now we're going back to basics because with the amount of time, technology changes.
Market changes,
you're doing market changes. Yep. You've got even what we're looking at on Squat, it's like, oh well, we're doing we're going to UE5 now, and then we're doing we're going to go from 5.4 or whatever to 5.5, and that can change. Even those like little things can do big changes and have unforeseen.
That brings me to process, right? Like, or experience.
Yeah.
That is something that when we were making AAA games back in the day, you would make your own engine.
Yeah.
There wasn't an instinct of like changing the engine or upgrading the engine or doing anything, because the technical director would he would have a heart attack. He would just be like, you change anything fundamental about it, he'll lose his mind. And there was, because they, EA at least, they've been through so many games, they got this down to a science of like, how do we prevent these things from happening? And a lot of it is just change management. A lot of it is just, whatever you want to do, is it worth it? No, we're not going to do it. That can be a tech call. It can be overriding design. It can be overriding production. It has to be sometimes a tech call.
Well, not only that, like so if you're making a change of an engine, like even with one that's developed in house, let's take Frostbite, right? For EA's Frostbite, with Battlefield and all the other stuff. Sometimes that engine change doesn't work well with other games. And they say, you have to now use this system. And it's like, we've built our entire game, let's call Mass Effect, for example.
Well, FIFA.
And now it's like, now you have to rebuild the entire game using our new engine. So, everyone on that team has to relearn how to work with this. Maybe there's a lot of benefits, but now on the other side, there's a lot of different constraints, and they have to learn how to rework with that. And, given with the time crunch, and budget, how long that they have to do that might not come out as well as that they anticipated. But yeah, maybe the next one does, because now they've gotten a lot more used to the engine and a lot more experience. And but one of the things when we're talking like making games, like people and talent, one of the big things with studios is trying to retain that talent.
Yep.
Right. If you have people leave, now the cost is we have to hire someone else. It costs to retrain and all those things. If you've got someone that's doing well that you like, it's important, I believe, to keep them on board, because they're very intimate. They have intimate knowledge with the engine or the process and what it takes for your title.
Yeah, AAA will keep you around through stocks and other various perks that hopefully make up for the amount of work that you end up doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can do pretty well if you stay in those places and you manage to stay and you manage to work your way up and like get more and more, perks and stocks and stuff like that.
Other studios, though, really encourage you to leave.
Yep.
Go to another studio, gain information or skills from there, and then come back.
Yep. Some of the indie studios were very prided themselves that they would promote people who were nowhere near ready for the role and allow them to grow into it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I became a game designer and a senior game designer was just given the opportunity in indie spaces to trying to change my role or learn new skills and run teams and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. What else we got there, Mark? Mark's got all kinds of fun things for us to
So
talk
what's your
about
top 5 AAA?
Because I could go on forever. Sorry, I'm interrupting Mark.
Yeah, top 5 AAA indie games.
Ooh, let's list a
in
few.
AAA or indie. Burnout Revenge for the PS2.
Oop, I hit the mic.
Sorry, that's you ruined my sound bit.
I'll
Burnout
leave it.
Revenge for the PS. Oh God.
PS2.
The PS2.
Yeah.
Oh hi, Alan. Oh yeah. Anyways, I'm making a reference to Smiling Friends there. If you haven't seen it, that they make a great Burnout Revenge.
That is weird when stuff you've made enters the zeitgeist and popular
my
culture,
God.
and you just go like, "What a strange feel." I never forget the time where I walked into a store and picked up Burnout Revenge,
Yeah.
and it was top shelf, and like there's a whole row of the things, and I'm just sitting there like looking at it like, "Huh,
I worked on that.
yeah,
Yeah, I can remember that as well,
Yeah.
and yeah, definitely with the skate game that
Skate.
came out, and because there was only one king at that point, and that was Tony Hawk, and we
yeah.
came at we actually had a fun. So getting with studios talking. Sorry, we're going to get into the AAA stuff here in a minute but getting into studios and competition back and forth. A lot of times, from the outside perception, is like it's us versus them, and there's like this huge like these are better than this, Battlefield's better than Call of Duty, and there's this big clash. But a lot of the times the talent has come from from those very same studios.
Yep.
It's very interwoven, and I remember the head of Activision. He sent us a picture of him saying, "I'm gonna kick your ass" underneath it, and that spurred us to do even even better on skate. It was a fun call out. It's not always dirt serious when it comes down to business. It can be.
Oh, it was when I was in some teams where they were like,
Oh,
they were like
take it
they were
real
showing us
serious.
a competitor game, and they'd be like, "We're crap compared to this,"
Yeah.
and everyone would be looking at me, "Well, I think we're pretty good." And
Wrong.
Yeah,
You're wrong. It's crap.
There was a lot of that. There was
Well,
lot
we had
of-
a guy come over from your team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had back in the day. We had a guy come over and it was like, "All this is shit."
Yeah.
And we're like, "We thought we were doing okay."
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, sometimes it can take that. It's about the delivery, I think.
It's about the delivery. It's also about the culture and the like. A lot of artists go through that as well. They are taught to, show their work and just be torn apart because that's what, professional production artists go through all the time. They get a bunch of non-artists who are criticizing their work, and so in the learning process in their schooling, they actually go through that.
I mean, engineers, design goes through very similar things. You'll come
Oh, yeah.
out and you'll be like, engineers will be reviewing code and they'll be like, "What the hell is this?"
Yep.
Or whatever. There's a better way of doing
3
it.
months sometimes.
Design, yeah.
Design is everyone's
It's
a fucking
exactly
critic.
the same thing in design. It's like, no, this doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
or this doesn't, you need another supporting feature. It needs to be more rounded, more thought out, or whatever.
Yep.
It happens with every single one of them. But back to our, I don't know, give them top 5. Now we have time for like top 3.
Well, I think we should.
I said Burnout Revenge. That's one of my near perfect games. I
Right.
have to say.
Yeah.
I will never give a 10. So all these reviewers giving 10s out there, I'm like, you guys that's bullshit. There's no such thing because that means there is no room for improvement ever. If
Yeah.
you give a 10, you can never give a 10. I'm sorry, but Burnout Revenge for the PS2 or Xbox, whatever. I'm not getting into console wars. That shit's dead now. We all know.
Are we like we're going from
that's
full like throughout history because like
Sure, I
that
don't
doesn't
care.
even qualify as a AAA game now compared
Well,
to.
I know now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You
Oh yeah,
give-
just
you
anything
give
we
me
think
your
of
thing.
triple.
Yeah.
I would go with Prototype.
Oh yeah, I remember Prototype.
Big superhero guy.
Yeah, okay. Why?
Because you can run up a building with a car in your hands, jump, and then throw it at a monster that was chasing up the building after you, and also fucking like somehow target something else at the same time. It had perfect targeting, perfect movement, locomotion, and the emotion of being a superhero that you were basically unstoppable but still vulnerable.
You have this cool toy to kind of play with that freedom, and when I want to do something, it works the way I expect. And that is why I want to talk about, with Burnout.
Yeah.
Even just getting into that game, right from the start. And by the way, I had Chaz sign my copy because I can, and we can do that. And you signed it, and you have an interesting signature. Anyways, I'm going to use that for forging documents. That game, right from the moment you boot it up, it slams in the face. You've got the video is playing. Everything fits with the core and pillar of over the top crazy racing. And when you're playing it, and there's those shunts, and then you're taking people out, everything works, and it makes you feel empowered and in control. And that is what I love about it, and that's why I'm such a control freak.
God of War.
You know what? I'm gonna.
I think the production value on that game is insane.
No, production value is great.
I think actually the game design
It's not my kind of game.
is derivative, but not derivative in terms of it's bad, but in terms of it doesn't do anything too interesting or crazy, but everything it does do in terms of its RPG systems is very well done. It's beautifully done.
No, absolutely, it is. I
It's
will acknowledge
elegant.
the fact that
It's elegant.
I will acknowledge that I would say that's a very excellent game. I know why people. I understand from a designer's point why people like it and why the systems work. It's just not my kind of game. It's like me, like everyone going, "Oh, I love Balatro." I don't like Balatro. It's not my type of game. And people are, "Well, why don't you like about it?" It's like it's just not my style.
So I think as a game developer, maybe that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at a game developer. I can see all the pieces working together. Maybe it's not like the game I played it once and then never played it again. But like when I think of AAA, when I think about the art of the making something, that's what I'm thinking of AAA. Like I'm not like a punter off the street anymore. I look at it as a professional and I go, okay, I'm analyzing this way. So that's where I'm coming from it, not as a player.
No, absolutely. I mean, as designers, we have to kind of look at that, and sometimes it can be like people are like, "Well, you're overanalyzing it, and you're turning the fun off, in your brain." It's like, well, that's the enjoyment I do get is how all these systems work. I mean, I love this particular game I'm going to say next, and it's not for any particular reason that you may think. I love Vampire Survivors. I love that game. Love it. It is
AAA.
It's not
Are we
AAA.
doing AAA
No, because he said
okay,
you said AAA or indie.
Top 5 AAA or indie.
Yes. So
All right.
there, I'm hitting the indie
All
one.
right. I was purely going AAA.
Okay. Well, we both.
I can only
AAA
think
to
of
start.
one category at a time.
Definitely Vampire Survivors for me. And the
Change the
reason
industry.
why it's excellent game, it's got setting up all the different unlocks and combining all the different, trying to build the ultimate build for that particular moment or that particular level of the gameplay is setting up all the different power-ups and stuff, pairing with the characters that also can enhance that. Like it just goes so nice and deep, and then unlocking. So this is where. If this came out back in the day of loot boxes or those horrible things, man, when you open up a crate in that game, that just hits so good. It's like the regular rarity, and then you get the purple one, and you get extra stuff, and then you get the gold, and you're just like, this is so good. Like that is it hits on every single level for me. And then of course they got into expansions which fit, calling back to my roots, playing Contra, and they've got all those kind of things. Like those are like that's for me a top tier indie game, 100%.
Factorio. You're probably not going to like that game.
No, I'm. It's not my kind of. It's like Rebel Rally. It's like everyone's like, oh, it's such a great board game. I'm like, it's not my kind of game. I own it, but I own it, I think, only for the purpose of
Basically
owning it.
a second job at this point, I would say.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that would be the main
There's a couple
thing.
guys on our team that actually play that.
Yep. Borderlands 2.
Oh, mwah.
I mean,
Of
I don't
all
even
of-
know where Counter-Strike fits in, but where does Counter-Strike... Is that indie? Is that AA? It's Valve.
That's a weird one because when if you're gonna go back to when it first came out,
Yeah.
it's very indie.
I was a big Codename Eagle guy. Remember that was the start of Battlefield, the first ones where you could get into that. That was big. I was trying to think of first-person shooters so we can keep it on brand for Offworld, but I think Borderlands 2 might be my biggest thing. I'm a big sci-fi guy, so
Same. I you know what? We're absolutely in agreement here on this one.
storyline, characters,
Comedy,
mechanics,
the mechanics. Oh yeah.
level design, vehicle physics,
The looter shooter, which is just, it felt so good. Just
customization, diegetic UI. Everything was firing all cylinders when Borderlands 2.
It was.
That was a great game.
3, you know what? I wouldn't say you can get into it or not. And you know what? Tell us what your favorite one is. Mine's 2. I know yours is 2. But that's another thing too. Tell us your favorite games. I want to know what your favorite indie or AAA games are. I mean, you can even say AA or quadruple A. You just let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll talk about them next time.
Give you a professional opinion on what they did well and what they could have improved on.
Yeah. Beyond I think it's fun. Yeah. We'll get into
We'll
that.
get into that.
Fun. We'll get into that at another time. We have our opinions on that for sure. What else we got there? We have we could talk about a fun game that we like to play. We've done it a couple times. Parkour or Spreadsheet. So let's take Borderlands 2. Is it a parkour game or is it a spreadsheet game? And what you're wondering is why the two distinctions? Because every game should be able to be broken down into one or the other. Borderlands 2. Spreadsheet. I have to agree. The parkour aspect, I mean, you're moving around, jumping and doing and shooting and all that kind of stuff. But the spreadsheet, it's all the breakdown of how all these things work with exactly what you're saying, like the leveling system. Each different character has their own skill tree and how that pairs with different weapons and enhance. It's 100% spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's one of the first games to make a number go up system as compelling as it is and replayable as it is as well. Because you're always going through and you're always looking for. Well, are you looking for? But you're always pleasantly surprised by picking up a quick rare or a quick, unique. Something that's really, really giving you that jolt of dopamine whenever you need it, but also giving you the lulls, right?
Yeah.
Giving you a time to calm down and do something easy.
Well, in those lulls, though, this is where it plays so well. Is during those lulls, it's usually you've got Claptrap or you've got Handsome Jack interjecting with comedy. It gives you those. It's well paced out with the with those aspects of the game, which makes you kind of appreciate and listen to it, because sometimes even though you can be playing that game,
it's similar to Squad, right, where you have these lulls of
That's exactly
I was playing primarily I didn't even think of Gears of War 2, which is actually, I would say, probably one of my favorite experiences.
Yeah, I love Gears of War 2.
Because I was playing Borderlands 2 and Gears of War 2 co-op with your buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And the downtime is when you're talking about stuff, you're comparing things, you're talking about the game and you're enjoying yourselves. Squad has that in spades.
Oh yeah.
Troopers has that, a little bit more, but not. Battlefield 6, you don't even talk to anyone. It's a beat grind.
I'm pushing, going this way.
We're old, so we're probably out of it. But Counter-Strike, I think of Counter-Strike back in the day like a big Counter-Strike player, nowhere near good enough to compete or anything, but I would play every day at university to the detriment of my computer science degree. Mm-hmm. But, I always...
did all right.
Yeah. But there was always the social element as well. Like there was always this point where you were talking about it, like analyzing the builds, socializing, and a bunch of geeky people don't socialize. So that's a huge thing. And I think, these bigger, shooters that are really popular, they tend to just be ADD based.
Yeah.
But we're old, so.
Yeah, but yeah, getting back to something like Squad or Troopers again. That is so taking Squad specifically. They're like that's where it feels really nice, and people are talking about strategies, or you know what, maybe they're talking about something they made for dinner last night, like my soup I made that I forced you guys to eat today at lunch.
Yep.
And you said you liked it.
Yep.
Mark?
Yep.
There we go. I make good soup, but it's what you're in the mood for, what you're craving for, and that is when it comes down to what games I want to play at any given moment. If I only have a certain amount of time, maybe I'm playing Vampire Survivors, or maybe I'm playing Battlefield, or Call of Duty or something. But if I've got more time that I want to sink into this, and I want a different experience, something to savor and try to find different intricate moments that I enjoy. Yeah, maybe it's Squad, maybe it's I don't know, Borderlands, or maybe it's Fallout, right? It's which I do love Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout's another one I forgot. We've probably forgotten most of the games.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about it now. I'm just like, where does XCOM come in? Well, I'm a big XCOM player.
XCOM.
Big
XCOM
XCOM.
2, I loved.
Yeah.
I loved XCOM. XCOM 2 though,
Yeah.
so good. So
God,
good.
that must have been AAA. That was one of the most expensive games. God, back
Was
in the
it
day.
really?
Back in the day, yeah. Bullfrog.
Bullfrog also did
Like
Syndicate.
Yeah.
Too bad that wasn't as good as I'd always hoped it and wanted it to be.
I think they had, you had like sports games that were like really, they were probably the AAA, and Syndicate would have been. But yeah, I think about it now. I'm like Dungeon Keeper was a crazy game. Like so much stuff going.
Mark,
on.
you got a favor of yours just to throw into the ring here?
Well, you guys said it, XCOM.
Yeah. Okay.
Back in the day, it would have been Wing Commander.
Oh yeah. Okay. Wing Commander, very good.
Yeah.
TIE Fighter?
I wasn't really.
Or would you or X-Wing?
X-Wing.
Okay.
X-Wing, but I liked Wing Commander better.
Mm-hmm.
And then for like kind of more modern shooter type, Medal of Honor. What was it called? Medal of Honor. Give me a second. The Moha. It was the European campaign. It was on PC. It was great. I started my first network server. I hosted competitive Medal of Honor servers back in the day.
Crazy.
So, and just kind of in closing, or not really in closing, but when we're talking about a game, whether it can start from just a mechanic, one neat mechanic that people go wow, and they really grab onto it. It becomes innovative, and that can actually balloon an indie studio into a AAA studio overnight. You can get those hits. So, my advice, if you're out there trying to be a dev, find a mechanic that you love, or that you can really get behind. You say, this is what I want to do. Maybe it's a brand new, or it's a spin on a current one, and start there. Start small, and build your game around that core. And that is the best advice I could give, because then that way you're focused. You're not worried about bloating out the game. Just make that one component fun. Let's call it engaging, because we'll talk about fun another day. And that's a wrap on our first episode. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And thanks to my producer, Mark, and co-host Chaz, and of course, Offworld Industries. Join us next time for more DevCast, where we take you down the rabbit hole of game development. Later.